Hello and welcome everybody to Final Fantasy Randomizer's Fall League. Happy to have you here. We are week 1, so we're just freshly into it. This is our second race. Before we get into too many details, I'm going to welcome my co-coms, Fellison, to the booth. Fellison, say hi to the people.
Hello! So, for anyone who didn't catch the first race or isn't part of the FFR community, this first week is a spoiler week, so the runners have had access to the seed and the spoiler log for the last 48 hours, and they've been planning for the whole thing.
Yeah,
so,
all the teams. We have teams of 4. Everyone's on a team of 4. And teams have been at it real hard at work at all these different seeds, deciding your routing, where your items are, like everything that can be discussed or plotted out for these runs has been for the last 48 hours. So these are going to be fast races because we're not doing anything we don't need to.
So anyway, you might notice that there are a lot of white mages today, and that is because if you look at the blessings, those happen to have, let me see, Nuke Magic, +1 MP on all levels, and 800 starting GP. So that will be 3 charges of level 8, which will be Nuke, and probably the only thing they'll ever be casting, since Magic is vanilla. They will just have the same magic shops as we are used to, with not much of note for early white magic.
Yeah, vanilla magic makes you a little sad, but when you get a white mage with Nuke Magic, you don't feel so bad about it anymore. That's really all you need. Especially with the scaling, because scaling on these flags is really low. I'll make sure I get it correct. The scaling is 20 to 80%, so the scaling's really low. Another feature in this is your max level is 16. Doesn't matter how many fights you're taking, you're never getting past level 16.
And another important feature is some new consumables, the most notable of which being flares, which cast nuclear, so basically the equivalent of Fade. That might be one of your main sources of damage. And the runners are off, and we see they are all rushing straight for Toph.
Yeah, no need for Canaria right now. We already got all the magic we need on us. That's going to get us through first at least a little bit of this game, so it makes sense to completely skip Canaria. That's extra time we're not spending. Looks like everyone's going straight for Garland. Which means
not Rax, who is picking up an extra flare chest. They have a generous stacks turned on, so every chest contains 3 of those, so that's a pretty strong supply. Another item we could see used on Garland here is Black, which is a slightly weaker form of the Bane spell. So if it ends up getting a kill on boss, that's a little bit of time cut from the run.
Yeah, I noticed look like Jay and ADR. Neither one of them talked to they talked to Sarah and they got the canoe, but they didn't get the canal, which means they know they don't need it.
Yes, that's one of the perks of spoiler, is that you know if you will be getting the floater somewhere far away from the inner sea, or if maybe this could be a floaterless seed. Well, the lack of canal kind of gives it away in this case. And I see some of the runners are going for today's bonus objective, which will give 1 extra point for the whole tournament, which was to walk straight from Canaria to Elfland without saving. So that's ADR cashing it in. That was Jay Shadow. Matty on the way.
Yeah, that extra point. So we have a bucket system for our scoring for teams. First place, there's a set amount of points. And then from first place, there is a minute timeline. And anyone who gets within a minute of the person who finished first will get the same amount of points as first. Once the second person finishes, bucket 2 starts, and then there's 2 minutes and so on. These bonus points could change so much because in these flags, like the way we're doing with Spoiler Week, which we saw in our very first race, so many people, it was just a giant cluster for the most part of the times that came in. So especially in races like this, and it'll play a big part, I'm sure, in future races too, those bonus points are incredibly helpful. It might not seem like a lot because it's just one, but they can make a big difference in the long run when it comes to team scores.
Yes. So we've seen all 4 runners cash in that bonus point, and now most of them are in marsh. And I see ADR getting close to the destination everyone has in mind, which, as we might have kind of clued toward, is the floater. So we got the canoe from the princess, and we got the floater from here. We can already rush straight for the desert and get in the air.
Yeah, you'll notice they didn't get it out of the Marsh incentive proper chest. And that's because Marsh is incentivized in these flags, but again, that just means they know whatever's there they don't need. But there's also 8, if I remember correctly, 8 loose in this flag set. So there's quite a few incentivized locations, but that doesn't mean what you need is going to be in one of them.
I also notice ADR doing some interesting movement things, and that's because when you have the spoilers for the horses. Oh, is Matty restarting? Must have been. Oh, no, she just misinput on a reset. Anyway, when you've got the seed in advance, you know exactly how the encounter RNG will work, and you can plan out some pretty elaborate step routes, the kinds you would see on a vanilla speedrun, usually. So, for instance, we can get some massive hero runs, maybe bring them into a dungeon, and sometimes avoid some really nasty encounters. I know there are quite a few of those in this seed.
Yeah, they seem to have like a really fast encounter off the hard reset there that they're just resetting out of and then just booking it afterwards with a pretty good run after that.
So Ilya was first in the air and rushed straight for BK. Of course, Nuke makes this fight a complete joke. And meanwhile, Jeshai is diving Volcano immediately.
Yeah, we have our first bit of route divergence. We've got 3 people in the air. 2 went straight for Bowcraft to get in the air, and Jay went to Volcano. That is a heck of a move. It's rare when you see a carry dive at like 5 minutes into the race. You typically only see that on like floor entrance shuffle and like your level 5, but maybe you got Quake and you found Lich.
I remember I used to do quite a lot of those as a newcomer. I quickly stopped after I kept losing races to wiping to carry. So anyway, ADR has dived Titan's Tunnel, and you could see that this place was kind of stacked with the key, the herb, and the flare chest.
There was a lot there.
So, Jeshai onto carry, not bothering to heal, because who needs health? When your white mages will both go first and finish her off with just 2 nukes.
Yeah, one of the things we have on in these flags is the set RNG flag, which means that no matter how many times you could do the same fight over and over, you could wipe to the same thing over and over again, but you will always know exactly what's going to happen in that fight because it happens exactly the same every time. So Jay knew going into that fight that he didn't have to heal beforehand because he knew exactly what was going to happen. So he knew they were going to go first, his nukes were going to kill carry, and he could just walk in with 1 HP and walk out and be perfectly fine.
So, now Jeshai is joining Matty, who had been diving ice for a bit. Rax is taking a grind on that zombie detail at the volcano entrance. I didn't know about that one. Ooh, and even Harm is one-shotting that zombie D. That's cute. Hey look, there's a vampire. There was a vampire. And Matty has pulled up her reward for diving ice, which was the cube.
Which Jay is going to pick up here quickly. Well, anyhow, ADR making the A quick check there on Earth, getting the rod right before the rod lock, which is always really handy.
You hate to see it when it's not spoiler week, but otherwise, that just means the whole place is free.
Like, you don't ever want to have to dive Earth if you don't have the rod. And it's such a kick in the pants when that's where the rod is, and then you find out too late. And it's like, man, it's just a little annoying.
Another item of note that I saw Jeshidot pick up is a Katana plus 3 from Ice. Since the Masa and the Axe do not exist in this flag set, that means that this is pretty much the best sword you will ever see for this flag.
Jay getting his cube. We have Maddie and Rex making a mad run for carry. Meanwhile, we have ADR taking on a Lich.
Taking on who?
No clue. No one there.
The speediest of speed bumps. Matty using the same strats on carry. While Jeshidot is picking up all the good loot in Titan's Tunnel. Though I noticed he skipped the flares, probably not needing it with 2 white mages. And with that we see the reason the herb was picked up is that because despite the fetch quest NPCs not being incentivized, there was still something important on the Elfrins. The chime, if I recall correctly? Yes, that was the chime.
Yeah, our most important items here are we need key, we need loot to get into the final dungeon. We also need rod for Earth. We need key and not key, cube and chime for sky, and we need Oxyel for sea.
So with that, we see all of our runners mostly running the same dungeons that others have been in, just some level jumps in order. But once they're done with all that, I guess they will pivot over to the northern continent. And yes, we see Matty going down there right now. I guess she must have routed Earth later than the others. And she's going straight for Odys. So, I know I cannot really take part in the prediction, but pillars, chat?
It's so I'm so used to just FFR music that it's like I'm jamming to the new alt music we have over here. It almost sounds like a DJ remix every time you go through a pillar and it starts over again.
Yes, they are a fairly new addition to the rando. They are Meridian's work, if I recall correctly. I've been meaning to try contributing to that, but with falling being a lot of work, that will have to wait. So the first important item we get from Odys is the tail, and in the incentive chest is the Oxyale. And oh, Matty must have made a mistake on her route. She wiped to that giant and iguana style. That's a shame. That would set her back quite well since she had not been saving.
Oh no. Yeah, it feels. I mean, the white feels bad anywhere, but it feels particularly bad when you know the route, you know the steps going, and then just something goes just the tiniest bit wrong, and it just completely throws everything off.
Yes.
See, good Jay going to get his chime. We've got Rax grabbing their herb and their key. ADR getting his cube. Maddie on the way to her cube.
So I see a question in the chat about incentive chests, and that's basically the locations where we can get key items in the vanilla game, and sometimes that list is kind of altered depending on the flag set in Rando, and that's a way to make flag sets where you do not really have to pick up every single chest in the game to get your key items, as we usually have a pool of items that are put in those chests, which are usually all the key items and a couple pieces of endgame gear.
Yeah, so
That
if you're
should answer the question.
familiar with the vanilla game, say like the chest in March where you get the crown, that is an incentive chest. In the randomizer, we tend to switch those up a bunch. So yes, exactly. So say what you might have found in the vanilla game, the crown in Marsh. At least I think I'm remembering the vanilla game correctly. Don't tell no one, I've never played it. But I think you could, if it's now that we randomize it, you could find, the crystal there or any other item there. But it's basically those chests are where you're going to find items you're going to need, and they will always be there, unless it's not incentivized. And there's a way in the randomizer to kind of pick and choose what is and isn't randomized.
So with that, ADR is out of ordeals, putting him probably in the lead out of the runners that are being restreamed.
Yep, he's got just a slight lead on Jay, but Jay's right behind him.
And this is the loot. It's right there in Cardia. Another way to grab that would have been to go give Bahamut a visit, since we've turned on Bahamut's Horde, which puts all the chests that are in the Cardia Island right behind him. Which is what Jay Shadal is going for, since that also gives the promotion.
ADR is like, I'm gonna need that white mage back. It's got my extra nukes.
And with that, that's Jay Shadal with a promoted party and the loot. While ADR is diving C.
Yeah, if you notice, both Jay and Rax, if you're watching and aren't familiar, both are not Rax, Jay and ADR, they both got the loot, but they got it in different ways. We have a flag on called Bahamut's Horde, which means all the chests from the Cardia Isles will be in down there with Bahamut. ADR did the check in the Cardia Forest, which is quicker if you just want the loot. Jay wanted to class change, so Jay went to Bahamut, was able to class change and get his loot at the same time. Meanwhile, while they're both making a run for Kraken, Rax is getting their chime. Maddie is just about to get her rod and then take out Flip.
I am sort of wondering how far from her usual route that Wipe has put her. So if she's just doing the same thing as maybe she got sent back to somewhere she had hard reset or something.
It's kind of right back outside of ice, so I don't think it messed up anything that she had done prior. I didn't see how far down she was, but at least all of ice that she had covered beforehand, it wiped her out of, so she had to go back and redo all of what as far through ice as she had gotten. Like, I know it did at least that. ADR on his Kraken fight. Just nuke, wait, nuke, nuke. That thief at this point is he's just there for the run chance. That's all. He's not doing much of anything else.
At least with the ADR strats, that's what's happening. But for anyone who's promoting, that Katana +3 that could have been picked up in ice is very juicy.
It'll be interesting to see, because... Interesting. Well, alright. See, if you notice, the RNG will also be different for your fights depending on what your party is. ADR was nuke, wait, nuke, nuke. ADR, or J has a 3-man party, and just wait, wait, nuke, and making his Kraken fight quite a bit faster. It's another thing that a lot of the teams and everyone is trying to work out in these flags is finding the fastest way to get through your fiend fights. And what party to take. There's a lot of options when you're trying to figure all of this out. So to like figure the perfect route, perfect party, you know, how to make your fiend fights go the fastest. There's been a lot of work done in the last 48 hours.
So anyway, with just the air orb left for both J-Shadow and ADR, that's probably just a plan to go straight for Tiamat and light the last orb, and with both the key and loot being already acquired, that will be their go mode, as they will just have Natofa left to do.
Maddie got her chime, now she's headed to Ordeals. Gonna grab her Oxiel. Be curious to see if she grabs a Talon class change. Meanwhile, Rax hasn't done the water orb yet, but is right behind J and ADR in Sky.
I see there were a lot of encounters on this Bridge of Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
That is always one of the places with the highest encounter rate in the game, since it's got a slight multiplier compared to the usual dungeon counter rate, and that was around the carry fight. That's the power of triple nuke.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of wish there was more, times and races where we could just be like, you know what? We're just gonna have a bunch of nuke, and nuke's gonna get us through everything.
Well, there's a reason that Tiforio is my personal favorite party in the game. And with that, at 20 minutes 25, ADR is entering Tofa. So, with 3 white mages in the party, that will give him 9 nuke casts in total.
Yeah, and like I said, with the scaling as low as it is, that nuke is... It might not seem like a lot if you're, if you watch even FFR casually, but those 9 nuke... or 9? I think it was 9, or is it...
Yes,
however many nuke casts it is. Yeah, it's gonna do a lot of work in Cobra, like, a lot of work.
And in addition to that, you've got a couple flares to throw with the Thief.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's basically the equivalent of 3 nukes and a fade.
Yep. Yeah, the flares that we have, each seed you start with, I'm not sure if it's the same, but you start with flares, and there's some in the seed you can pick up, and for those who don't know, a flare, like Phil said, it's kind of the equivalent. It's not as good as a nuke, but it is a free cast of magic. We also start with Refresh, which is kind of like a heal 3. So we start with some things that can help you out if throughout your seed. If say you need more nuke than you have, or you're running low on heals, they're quite handy.
Another very fun item in the flag set is black. We saw Shumbabi make an excellent use of it yesterday, having found that on the first turn, one of the slots can just throw on and get a 2 into 56 kill on chaos, which is quite impressive since, yes, that's 2 into 56 since we are running with the fixed RNG table, which does not have three possible spots on the table that land on a crate.
It's always nice when you get an insta-kill off, but there's just something so much better about when you can get one off on like a Topher Fiend, like the refights, especially Chaos.
So in the meantime, J Shadow is right on the heels of ADR, just going through Leech's floor. On ADR's side, one flare and two nukes was all that was needed for carry. And on the Shadow's side, one of my favorite things in this seed, the ninja can just one-shot Lich 2.
Same as Lich 1. There is a reason why they call it a speed bump. It usually isn't doing much to get in your way. Occasionally it'll ruin your day. But for the most part, you're usually fine getting through Lich 2.
Anyway, I just saw Rax get 378 damage with a single nuke on Kraken, which was probably a one-shot.
Mm-hmm.
The other Kraken will take one nuke, plus a nuke, plus a flare. Yep, that's enough. And I did notice ADR making the play of switching the Thief to slot 3, because he knew that was the slot that Kraken was gonna punch for a lot of damage, and the Thief kind of has a lot of agility to dodge that and survive.
I take back what I said earlier. The Thief not only is there for run chance, but to take a punch to the white mages doesn't. He has two purposes today.
Kraken was even targeting slot 3. The usual. And a couple more flares and nukes. And made quick work of tier 2. So
I've
now
noticed
ADR just has a chaos left.
Yeah, and I've noticed Jay having the smaller party in his fights, some of them maybe going just a little faster or different. I'm not entirely sure which, but he's made up some time on ADR.
Indeed. Because that katana, while it can sometimes get some bad attack rolls, when it does crit, it's kind of the equivalent of a nuke cast. Anyway, Chaos has Frenched out ADR's slot 1 white mage, but now just spamming some flares and some nukes.
Someone tells me that Chaos isn't long for this world. Hey, and I was
Yep.
right. Congratulations.
That's
GG
ADR
ADR.
finishing in first place with an official race time.gg time of 25:31.
First place on stream and in the race room.
Yes, followed very close behind by Pickles NBA with 25:37 and Fried Potato at 25:47. Dichadel also throwing out the katana and the nukes. Will probably finish very close behind. Yep, that's the finish.
With an official GG time of 26:04. So
And right on his heels was his fellow OJ Power Hour host, Astrado, at 26:05. So all these people will be in the first bucket and scoring 10 or 11 points, depending on whether they got to the bonus objective.
that was a between ADR at first and J at fourth. 4 people, and they, or even Oslo right after. 4 people, 5 people finished with all within 30 to 35 seconds of each other. That's kind of insane.
Okay, but let's not let that distract us from Rax's strat for Lich 1, which was throwing 2 harm 1 charges. That's the reason this flag set is called World of Paper. And we are joined in the booth by... hold on, I don't have the...
Jay, shout out. Welcome, Jay. Howdy. How
Oh,
you
heart
doing?
finally
How you
calmed
doing?
down.
A little bit.
I didn't have my watch on to take my heart rate on this one, but oh my. Yes, Oslato. Next time.
Yeah, this I'm a person who has extreme race anxiety, so I feel like my heart's just pounding all the time racing. But I think there's something added to that doing a spoiler race because everyone knows exactly what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is just trying to see just like who gets through faster, and that's nerve-wracking.
Yeah. It's like, what did someone else find that I didn't?
Pretty much. Or did they find a better route, or did they, does their party configuration work better than mine? There's a lot of
Yeah.
questions.
What little thing did we not test that they stumbled across, or what else?
Although I think in this seed particularly, it was just take a lot of white mages.
Yeah. Well,
A thief maybe, but just take a lot of white mages.
you're in our group chat, obviously, but you saw the moment this got rolled, like, hey, Fizzle, it's a white mage seed.
You know what? Even he and I, neither one of us are big white mages fans, and we both would have had a party full of them. Whole party
Yep.
full of them.
It's like, the white mage gets 3 casts of nuke to start.
Yep. Well, let's just fill a bunch of slots full of you.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the booth, ADR, our first place winner on stream and in the race room. In GG.
Oh, thank you. I am so surprised I won. Wow, that was close.
Yeah.
Sure was. We were just saying the top 5, all within like 30 to 35 seconds each other. The times on these flags, like in these races, even just 2 races in, have been insane, especially how close they are.
Yeah, one of the things that's so crazy about it is not tenting, not healing, stuff that you'd normally do just as you don't know what's coming. But when you do know what's coming, like you can cut off minutes of preparation and risk of adverseness, but it feels weird.
Yeah, these flags, if it wasn't a spoiler, I'd say would probably be, because there's so many loose that you have to open to look for things. This is at least an hour-long flag set if it's not a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's about right too.
And y'all literally cut it in half, at least in half.
Well, just knowing the slots that get crits, or like, hey, if I wait 2 turns, I can cast nuke and it kills them immediately. Like, so much better.
So to prepare for this, I made a list of things to do, and I wanted to keep it like dead simple. Usually my eyes are on the game, obviously, and instead here I'm sitting on this to-do list, and it's like, go direct to ice, swap sleeve to slot 1, house, do not hard reset, run from first fight, stuff like that. And I put it on a foot pedal so I can hit my foot and advance down the list so I wouldn't lose my place in it.
Oh. Man, I wish I could do that. That'd be so much better.
Yeah, I'm so proud of it. I had to show my wife, and she's like, that's cool, I guess. But it's cool.
And confirm, I think that is very cool. Especially because, and I'm sure everyone who's done this, you're not used to having to look, especially if you're still looking at like what you need to do in your list of things. You're just so focused on the game. That split focus sure is something.
Yeah, they say fall league's always different. Well, it certainly is different this time.
Yep. Fall league is when we go just a little crazy.
And fun.
Yes. Meanwhile, we have Rax about to pull Chaos. So we had 2 different parties on stream. Rax and ADR had the Thief Triple White Mage. Maddie and Jay both had Thief Double White Mage.
Interesting. I wonder if anyone else took anything different, or the white mage was just that strong.
I think the White Mage is probably that strong.
I agree.
Yes, there's barely any incentive to pick anything that is not a thief or a white mage in this flag set. Not this flag set, but this specific seed.
Got your run, got your nuke, don't need anything else.
Anyway, Rax got a clean 2-turn kill on Chaos, and that's GG for them. That puts them in 6th place as with a race time.gg time of 32:09, with Dark Moon being 5th place at 29:43. Or actually, no, it was 6 and 7. Yes.
Nichols in chat saying they ran Thief White Mage. Interesting.
Yes, that's also the seed I was going for when I was kind of planning and having Matty out.
I believe we have a Rax in the booth.
Hello!
Rax.
Thank you, GG's.
So how are you enjoying Spoiler Week?
Well, I actually feel really good about our team's preparation. I think that we didn't put together the fastest route, but we did something that was very reasonable. My execution was just not... my hands were shaking this whole time. I think everyone's been saying that, but mine included casting the wrong spell on carry too, so... Oops.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you just add in the slightest bit of nerves. It's like
Yeah.
in Spoiler Week, it's fun because you know what to do, when to do it, where to go. You can figure all those things out. It's the execution you have to worry about because, like we were saying during the run, you might have your path down and know exactly how to do it to be fastest, but you step wrong way, one step in any direction, like it throws off everything you're doing. Same with like one of your boss fights, you know exactly how you want to handle it, but one missed menu and it completely throws off exactly what you were doing.
Yeah, and that's just part of the race, and it's very cool to see, you know, when people get everything right, and it's also like it's okay when you don't get everything right. But oh, GG's.
Still did really well. Maddie
And
on
as we
her-
say this, Matty is on her own chaos fight, and another 2-turn. That's GG. She finishes
GG,
in
Maddie.
8th place with an official racetime.gg time of, let me put that up, 34:34. So, if I'm not mistaken, that's the top 5 finishers, which are ADR, Pickles and Beer, Fried Potato, J-Chadel, and Oslodo in bin 1 with 10 points, which with potentially one more from the bonus objective. Then in bin 2 we've got Dark Moon, and bin 3 has Rax and Matty.
Correct. It's at least if I'm remembering how the bins work correctly. That sounds right. And I want to say everybody on the restream did the bonus.
I seem to recall that's how it went. Yes.
I tried to time that bonus out and like, oh, it's like 45 seconds compared to my other plan, but slightly different encounter manip, not resetting out of Canaria made it feel worth it. And at that point, you might as well go for it.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, it's gonna be interesting with the bonuses in the next few weeks. Because like you don't know how to route them in exactly because you won't find them out to right before the seeds rolled. So you'll be kind of figuring it out on the fly. So it's definitely going to work differently and be interesting to see who takes the risk of doing them as opposed to who doesn't. When I think this week everyone was probably going into the run with it planned in. Let's see. Maddie needs an invite.
Yay.
There we go. GG.
Hey.
GG, I know the feel.
Yeah, I want to crawl in a hole and die. Just a little bit, you know? Oh, I lost 10 minutes to that stupid missing Earth and throwing off the entire step route.
Oh no.
I had first for this race if I hadn't screwed that up. Oh.
Oh wow, you weren't kidding when you said you'd been cooking all day.
Yeah. Yeah, I had it down to like a 23xx.
Wow.
But then my muscle memory kicked in. So my original route was basically the one Rax did with the triple white mage, and that involved just basically skipping the katana and other things, and then going straight from Titans to Elfland. And my muscle memory kicked in from that, because that was what I was practicing all of yesterday. I only swapped to this route with like 13 hours to go. Oh, and it was such a good route too.
Yeah, there was, I want to say, probably a bit more route divergence on stream during this race than there was the first race on Tuesday. Like, it was very similar at the very beginning, and then as soon as everyone got in the air, like you saw, like ADR went to ice, and other people went other places, like ice and some and Jay's just like, nope, going straight to volcano.
Yep.
I'll do everything else after Carrie's down.
It's on the way to ice. Come on.
I'm at least happy that where I diverged was still in such a position that I could salvage at least finishing the run. Because, the having to maintain a step route from ice to Topher in that route
Oof.
was absolutely insane. Because if I made a single mistake, I think I had like maybe a 5 to 10 step leeway, so I could make some mistakes. But anything like I take the wrong portal in ordeals, I accidentally get stuck on a staircase, etc., and that route's dead. I can't finish. Oh, but it was so good, I couldn't not do it.
You'll have to
Maybe
record it
talking
later
about-
so we can see it.
Yeah,
I might try to do a really good one.
We talked about it a little before, but how happy were all of you when you opened the seed and saw white mages with new?
Again, I started with a 3 white mage plan.
I honestly wouldn't have been a little surprised just to see somebody just said, nope, all white mages.
We
All
need
white
the
mages.
thief run. We need it bad.
Yep.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
understand.
tried
the
to
white
route up the
mages,
thief.
they're not going for anyone, but I wouldn't be surprised at the very least that someone tested it. Because you
Oh,
just
I did.
gotta know.
For sure.
Feli's route with double thief white, I think, was like 30 seconds even faster than mine, but that route didn't get the bonus point, and also needed to do a full step route from literally the first step, no hard resets, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna pull this off ever.
Yeah,
I
I understand wanting to leave these shenanigans for the vanilla runners.
Yep. So, I hybridized our routes, managed to get it that I got onto Fellison's step route ice, but it was a really hard pull. And then again, I had to salvage it for the entire run. There was no points where I could hard reset and not die horribly. Also, exactly enough flares, exactly enough nukes, and 1 hit point on the thief. Killing the shark matters.
So anyway, we should probably move on to final thoughts from all of our runners.
ADR, our first place, we'll start with you.
I'm usually not a big fan of preparation. I prefer to just improv as I go. So this is different. Huge thanks to my team in our private chat room. They ran the seed before me. They really laid a lot of the groundwork. And it's really thanks to them I was able to get off the ground. So thanks again.
Second place on stream, Jay.
Hey.
Final thoughts.
Yeah. Most of the same thing ADR said. Like, this was a team effort. And Danny, since you're in here, I know you and Fizzle worked on this route a ton. I just kind of took the sandpaper to it and did some edges off of it. So thank you for the entire team for working this thing out. And thank you everyone here putting on this race. It was awesome.
All right, Rax, you're up. Final thoughts.
Yeah, the team aspect of this is just so cool. Like, I did a ton of weird step routing, although I think there's even more that I could learn, which is cool. But, like, I woke up to, like, by the way, these are all your boss fights. And I was just like, oh my god. This is the best.
It is nice being able to team event where the team is literally just theory crafting and stuff just all week long on Suites. It's been an interesting week, you can say for sure. Maddie, final thoughts.
But also no, like the team made a big difference in this. Doing this on my own, I probably would have just stuck with the triple white and had like a 28, which would have still been fine. But honestly, that I had a team able to express their ideas, because I'm much like ADR. I'm a figure it out as I go. My biggest skill is adaptation, which thankfully, again, at least let me finish this. But plotting things out and needing to have the step route perfect is very bad for adaptation.
Yeah, huge
Well.
props for salvaging the run.
Say, good news. Next week, you can just go back to wing it and adaptation all the way through it. You'll be right back where you're comfortable.
I don't know, I'm following Fellison's plan.
Say, only spoiler week 1 week. Next week, something entirely different and crazy on its own.
And now for something completely different.
Every week for 6 weeks.
That I wrote 2 of the flag sets scares me, because I know what the semifinals are like if I get that far. I know what I did. I also wrote this one, so yay, I'm glad at least I had fun with it, and it seems everyone else had some fun with it.
Of course, week 2 will be extremely different, but there will be 2 more races in this week. One of them tomorrow on the FFR channel, and one Saturday on RPG Limit Rec. So,
Yep.
some more of this for anyone who liked that.
Yeah, tomorrow's race is 10 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on and Saturday's at 6:30 p.m. Schedule, we got races for 4 week, all different times. So if you can't catch all of them, there's at least one somewhere that I'm sure it's a good time for you.
Anyway,
So
my
with
final
that-
thoughts is, again, massive congratulations to all the runners for putting in some really impressive plans and either executing them really well or managing to get a still pretty good finish out of them despite mistakes.
Yeah, and I
What
wanna
about you,
say,
Danny?
like you said, GG to all the runners. To do well with this, like, you really have to like plan and go into it knowing what you're doing, and was clear today that everyone did exactly that. They did an incredibly well job preparing for this race. So GG to all the runners, and thanks to you for jumping in to do comms today. Thanks to Odoron who helped me track today. Thanks to everyone who watched. Thanks to SG for having us today. And yeah, we've got many more weeks of Fall League to come. Also, next week, for those who may be watching and are coming to the SG Live event, a bunch of us will be there playing FFR next week. So if you are there and want to play with us, let us know. And if not, you want to say hi, we'll be around. But I think that's it for us. So if you like what you saw and you want to play FFR, FinalFantasyRandomizer.com is where you can find it. You can find links to the Discord there, or just go to discord.gg/FinalFantasyRandomizer if you just want to come play with us or come say hi in the Discord. We like having new people. So I think that's it. I think we covered all our bases. Unless I'm forgetting something, and if I am, someone yell at me. But otherwise, I think we were going to let everyone go and enjoy the rest of their evening. So thanks again to everyone. We will see you all tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern for the next Fall League race. Good night, everyone.